Jack Black. For most of his career, that name meant comfort, laughter, and a kind of easy joy that didn't need a setup or a punchline. He could walk into a scene, raise an eyebrow, let out a little guitar riff, and a whole audience would lean forward. People trusted him. They trusted that if Jack was on screen, the next few minutes were going to be fun. Not heavy, not complicated, just fun. That trust didn't appear out of nowhere. Jack was born Thomas Jacob Black in Santa Monica in 1969. He grew up with a constant buzz of music and performance around him. As a teenager, he tried almost everything creative he could reach: school plays, little skits, tiny parts wherever he could find them. He was not an instant star. He was a grinder. Commercials, brief TV spots, blink and you miss it roles in films. If you saw him in those years, you might not remember the title of the show, but you would remember the loud, fast-talking guy who stole a moment and then vanished from the frame. High Fidelity in 2000 is when many people finally took note. He didn't carry the movie, but in every scene he had, he felt like a spark. He sang, he teased, he made fun of customers in the record store. It was not just energy, it was control. He could take a small moment and make it feel big without stepping on the story. Casting directors noticed, audiences noticed, and the road to a real breakout opened. That breakout came in 2003 with School of Rock. It is hard to explain how perfect that role was for him if you haven't watched it lately. Dewey Finn is a mess, but he has a warm heart and he believes in music the way a kid believes in magic. Jack took that mix and made it feel real. He jumped on desks, he shouted, he crooned, he whispered, he did all the Jack Black things. But underneath the noise there was a simple message: music makes people brave. Kids who saw the film wanted guitars. Parents who saw it smiled because the chaos had a point. Teachers quoted the lines. The movie lived on TV, on streaming, on family DVDs tossed into minivans for long trips. It made Jack more than a comedian. It made him a feeling people wanted to have again. Meanwhile, there was Tenacious D. The band had started years earlier with Kyle Gass, Jack's friend and partner in Chaos. The songs were silly on purpose, but the playing was serious. The two of them could shred. They wrote about fake quests and strange creatures and overblown legends like they were telling tall tales around a campfire. Fans yelled the lyrics like sports chants. A D show didn't feel like a standard concert. It felt like a crowded living room where the hosts happened to own a stack of amps. That friendship on stage looked unbreakable. It was part of the brand. Two friends, two guitars, one storm of jokes and riffs. In 2008, Kung Fu Panda added another layer. Po was pure Jack. Excited, awkward, loud, kind, and weirdly brave when it counted. Kids who were too young for School of Rock fell in love with Po. Parents didn't mind watching it again and again because it was actually funny. Jack's voice work made the character bounce. With that, he had the rare thing every studio wants: cross-generational draw. He could do PG slapstick, he could do a music cameo, he could do a big live-action comedy, and he could sell all of it with a grin. And then in 2018, when most stars were still treating YouTube like something their publicist might mention once a year, Jack jumped in. Jablinski Games. The name made it sound like it would be a gaming channel, and yes, there were games, but the point wasn't the games. The point was Jack being Jack with no studio polish. The camera shook. Jokes landed and sometimes didn't. He wandered through arcades. He ate tacos. He made faces at the lens. He dragged the audience along to see something silly at a store. He let his kids pop in like it was the most normal thing in the world. That lack of polish made people relax. You weren't watching a product. You were hanging out. The channel took off. Millions subscribed. Clips slipped into family group chats. It felt like Jack had found a way to be on your phone without turning into a brand robot. By 2020, he had everything entertainers try to build: movies people rewatch, songs people shout, a voice role that anchors a franchise, and a direct line to fans online. If you made a list of public figures most people liked, he was near the top. And that is exactly why the next chapter hits so hard. When people lift you up that high, they don't expect to see cracks. The first crack arrived with a charity choice. In 2018, Jack promoted Autism Speaks. To many casual followers, a celebrity promoting a charity looks like a simple good deed. But people inside the autism community had long, detailed criticisms of the organization. Some felt the group treated autism like a problem to fix instead of a different way of being. Some called out earlier campaigns that leaned on fear. When Jack posted, a subset of fans said, "Hold on, look into this." The general audience mostly gave him grace. They said he probably didn't know. They said intent matters, but time passed and the posts continued without a note or an update. No, I've learned more. No, here's why I still support them. No, I hear you. That silence mattered. It planted a thought that would not go away. Maybe Jack doesn't always check the ground before he steps. Even so, the goodwill was huge. One weird choice wasn't going to flip the crowd. The bigger shift came later, not from a project, but from the feed. Through 2023, Jack's posts leaned more into serious topics. For years, he had kept that lane mostly playful. A silly song about the government, a goofy reminder video, he would tap the subject and bounce back to a riff. In 2023, the tone sometimes shifted. Posts about climate, posts about overseas conflicts. Some fans nodded along, others felt a door close. They followed him to breathe, not to brace. Then, in 2024, he endorsed a presidential candidate. In a town full of endorsements, this was normal. But for his specific audience, it marked a line he hadn't crossed before. The comment sections showed it. "I'm out. I'm here for jokes, not this." I liked him because he stayed neutral. It wasn't a flood, but it was steady. The image of Jack as the safe, all-audience pick started to wobble. And then Sydney, it was July 14th, 2024. The Spicy Meatball Tour had rolled into Australia, and the second Sydney show landed on Kyle Gass's 64th birthday. The theater lights dropped. The crowd was loud and warm. Midway through the set, Jack walked out holding a cake. You can picture it easily. Stage haze floating near the ceiling, the front row already holding phones up, 1,000 people ready to sing along to the world's fastest birthday song. Jack handed Kyle the mic with a grin that said, "Make a wish." And Kyle said a line that shocked the room, a remark about Donald Trump tied to an event that had happened just the day before. The noise collapsed. Nervous laughs flickered and died. Jack's face changed the way a sky changes when clouds move fast. It took seconds. That was enough. Someone in the crowd had already been recording. The clip hit social feeds before the band even got off stage. By morning, the video was all over. Headlines rolled in from both sides of the ocean. Politicians commented. People argued. Some said it was a joke that landed wrong. Some said a line had been crossed. The only constant was volume. 2 days later, Jack posted a statement. He said he was blindsided, that he didn't support that kind of remark, and that the tour was over. Shows canceled. Future plans on hold. Fans split down the middle. One side said that shutting it down was the right call. The other side said Jack had abandoned his friend. The friendship between Jack and Kyle had been part of the draw for decades. It was the core story behind every goofy chord change. People had built a picture in their heads, these two against the world, together no matter what. Now they were watching that picture burn. Kyle posted an apology and then pulled it down. His management dropped him. Jack returned to promoting film work. The split turned into a tear. Online, the notes were sharp. 30 years and you walk? He talks loyalty, but that wasn't loyalty. At least say something on stage, don't wait for a post. Other fans tried to cool the room. He did what he had to do. You can't defend a line like that. But the idea that Jack had protected his image first and his partner second stuck to the story like glue. It didn't matter that we don't know what was said backstage. It didn't matter what calls were made or how late into the night those calls went. What people saw was the cake, the line, the silence, the statement, the cancellations. Simple pieces, clear order, easy to tell. The timing could not have been worse for the rest of Jack's projects. Borderlands landed with heavy expectations and hit the floor. Reviews were rough. The tone didn't click. Audiences who might have given it a pass on a lighter week decided to skip. The performance notes said Jack felt muted. That word kept showing up. Muted. Around the same time, the first trailer for the Minecraft movie went live. You would think a world that massive would pull in nothing but cheers. Instead, the comments were mixed. Some people were excited, plenty were not. They questioned the tone. They questioned the casting. They didn't feel the spark they were hoping for. When a crowd is in love with you, they forgive a lot. When that love cools, every small thing looks bigger. Even Jablinski Games, which had been bulletproof for years, showed the shift. Views dipped, comments argued, the easy, cozy vibe thinned out. You could still find fans defending him, you could still find people laughing in the threads, but you could also find longtime followers saying they were taking a break. That's how trust fades online. Not with a dramatic slam of the door, but with a slow turn of the handle and a quiet step outside. So what's left for Jack Black right now? He's still famous, he's still busy, he still has a huge base of people who like him and always will. But the special shield he wore for so long, the one that said everyone loves this guy, has dents. In some spots, it's gone. For some fans, he's now the actor who started talking about serious topics when they wanted jokes. For others, he's the friend who chose career safety over a public show of support. Fair or not, that is the picture that formed. And pictures are hard to replace once they're framed in people's heads. But the story doesn't have to end here. Jack Black's career is long, and careers with that much history have chapters, not just headlines. The current chapter might feel rough, but the book isn't closed. The same things that made him a star are still in his hands. The humor that comes from not trying too hard, the musical instincts that make people smile without even realizing it, the way he can be big and ridiculous, yet strangely warm at the same time. The question is whether he will use those strengths to rebuild or let this moment define the rest of his public image. People don't expect perfection, even from the celebrities they admire most. They expect honesty, some humility, and a sign that the person they've been watching all these years hasn't forgotten who they are. Jack has an advantage that a lot of other actors and musicians don't have. His audience wants to like him again. They aren't hoping he fails. They're waiting for a reason to cheer again without hesitation. Rebuilding that trust won't come from a single interview or a quick apology post. It will take time. It will take small, genuine moments that don't look like a PR plan. It might mean showing up somewhere with Kyle Gass, not to make a spectacle of it, but to remind everyone that friendship matters even when things get messy. It might mean stepping away from hot topics for a while and focusing on the things that made people laugh in the first place. The goofy stage bits, the over-the-top voices, the moments in a YouTube vlog where the joke isn't even the point. The point is just that he's having fun and you get to be there for it. Fans remember what it felt like when he walked on screen and you knew you were about to enjoy yourself. They remember how his voice, as Po in Kung Fu Panda, could make a kid laugh out loud even if they'd heard the same line 10 times. They remember the way a Tenacious D concert felt less like watching a band and more like being part of an inside joke. Those memories are the bridge back to where he wants to be. It's easy to think of public image as something that can be permanently broken, but most of the time, it's just dented. If the person puts in the work to repair it, people come back. If they don't, people quietly move on. Right now, Jack is standing at that point in the road where both paths are still open. He could keep moving the way he has been, working on films, posting when he feels like it, and letting the noise fade naturally. Or he could take the more active route, reaching out, reconnecting, showing a bit of the vulnerability that his fans suspect is there under all the showmanship. If he does that, there's a good chance we'll see another wave of Jack Black moments that feel like the old days, not because time rewinds, but because people can forgive, and they like having a reason to root for someone they once considered one of their favorites. If he doesn't, the memory of that old version will stay in the past, and his name will carry the weight of missed chances. For now, Jack Black's story is unfinished. He's still out there, still performing, still making things. The spotlight is different now, a little colder, a little sharper, but it's still there. All he has to do is decide what he wants to do with it. And if history has shown anything, it's that when Jack Black decides to make people smile, he usually finds a way to make it happen. Whether that happens again is up to him, and if it does, the crowd will be ready to laugh just like they used to.